Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the fifth seminar in the seminar series, which is hosted by the FedEx Smart Center at IIT Madras. So, this week we are very happy to have our alumnus, Dr. K. Ganesh, who wrote his PhD thesis under a very humorous man, Professor T.T. Narendran, who's very well known for his jokes at IIT Madras. And Ganesh has the infectious smile can be seen on Ganesh also. We look forward to the talk. Few words about Dr. Ganesh. He has been an outstanding performer right through his career. Right, he went through academia with stellar academic credentials and directly just went into the industry and continually worked in the world of logistics and now is basically a partner at McKinsey, which is a very well-known consulting firm worldwide. Right? So we look forward to his presentation where he's going to talk about logistics and how generative technologies are going to be applicable in that space. Ganesh, the floor is all yours. You may be muted, please just check.
Yeah, I'm audible, sir. I'm audible now. Yeah.
Perfectly, and your screen is also becoming visible.
Perfect. Awesome then. No, very good evening, everyone. Very glad to be here. It's always pleasure to come back to IIT Madras. That's very special to me in all regards. Very glad, and I think Professor Narayan Swamy sir, when I was doing my PhD, we interacted a lot. We interacted in terms of many topics. Very glad, sir. Very glad to meet you after a long time. Thanks. And I was there last month. I actually met Professor C. Rajendran and also Professor Ashwin Kaur. Actually came to know about this FedEx collaborations. Very glad. I think it's a fabulous setup. I'm very close to supply chain and logistics, doing day in, day out multiple client engagements across industry sectors, right? So to give maybe before presentation, to give a brief of background. So I actually almost 20 years experience in supply chain logistics across industry sector, mainly auto, the advanced industry, auto EM, and also serve consumer FMCG, CPG. These two are predominant. Also done some special projects in energy, metals, and mining. So I also worked across chemical industry. So that's a industry sector, the AI industry, consumer, and energy metals. I probably comes with a rich experience in the logistics transformation. How do we do a traditional lever-based transformation, and also the digital is evolving, right? So today, how the digital element in logistics evolving, or the digital India. I mean, you all actually see India is evolving in digital element, the ONDC platforms and stuff. So I also specialize in the digital element. So today, what I thought, the Gen AI is one of the important area evolving, right? So my intention is to introduce you about Gen AI in a very practical way, and also talk about what are the different applications of Gen AI in supply chain. And few real use cases. What are we doing now? I'm going to show some of the use cases as well. So that's a plan for maybe next 45 minutes, and we probably keep last 5 minutes for a Q&A. But please feel free to ask any questions in the middle. Need not be monologue. So any questions anywhere, I think you feel free to ask. Once I start presenting, the problem is with the google.com setup, I may not see the screen, I think. So maybe if somebody really wanted to ask questions, you can unmute yourself and ask. Otherwise, when I present, I probably cannot see the chat in parallel. I try to join my mobile if possible, but I think feel free to ask any questions, right? So, and Professor TTN, sorry.
You can also type your questions down, and I will
Perfect.
interrupt the speaker a little bit to the audience.
Professor Narayan,
please go ahead with Professor TTN.
No, Professor TTN, I think is my mentor, guide, philosopher, and the PJ, we call it as a PJ. I think always remember TTNs. We call us a mama, TTN mama. So his PJs are always great. So Yeah, I think that's a very, very memorable, it's nostalgic for me whenever I think about IIT. So, with all these regards, I'll start my discussion on the Gen A topic. Share my screen. Yeah, I'll share and let me hide this and I'll go here. Yeah. So now I can't see the, I mean, hope you see me well because I can see only the screen. I cannot see the rest of the stuff. So anytime you can actually, step back and ask any questions. Okay, the topic is how do we bring the brilliance, how do we bring the excellence in supply chain? Supply chain itself is an ocean. It involves multiple functions in the supply chain. So how do we kind of bring the excellence and brilliance in supply chain and logistics with a Gen AI model, right? Before we understand AI, stabilize ourselves, the Gen AI has come into the into the picture. So many companies are now setting up center of excellence, center of competence, the separate group of people, data scientists to kind of leverage the advanced analytics and AI. That is the last, I would say, in the last 6, 7 years, many companies are embarking a journey. But the Gen AI is actually like evolving in the last 1 year in a big way. Yeah, I think that's where I think it's very vital, very important for every organization to step back and think the generative AI as well. My intention is to kind of cover 4 subtopics for today. One is, let me talk about what are the basics. What are the basics of Gen AI? How the Gen AI is evolving on what is Gen AI. Then I'll talk about what are the applications of Gen AI in the business value chain, the end-to-end business value chain from your supplier till the last leg of customer. What are the applications? Is Gen AI a success in all applications in all domain? That's a question, right? Does Gen AI fail? Let's see where Gen AI actually also have a probability of failure. Let's see that as well. I think keep it as a surprise section. The last, actually, I'll talk about specific applications in logistics and supply chain, how the Gen AI is evolving and what is our thinking and what are the different applications we have done with our clients. I think this is the next 40-45 minutes agenda, right? Hope this is good for all of you. Anywhere, anything you want to switch gears, let me know. I'm happy to do so, right? Parallel, I'm just trying to put in my mobile as well so that I can see the chat as well in the mobile. I'm trying to join the mobile so that I see whether things goes well. Okay, let me start with the basics, right? I think this is what I will actually say to many people, right? Gen AI will not replace a human, but the person using Gen AI will replace you, right? I think so many clients really wanted to go to Gen AI because a non-value added services, a non-value added activities within the entire value chain, within the entire business chain, can be, I mean, smartly and seamlessly done by Gen AI. And that's where it's very important to kind of step back and think through how do we kind of bring the Gen AI element also into picture into a many companies' agenda. If you don't learn about Gen AI, yeah, I think somebody else replace you, and some other researcher will actually replace you, right? So that's where I think it's the biggest complications going to evolve, right? So Gen AI, one second, I will reduce my volume here. So that one second. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good. I'm also joined here so that I can see in the chat. So Gen AI will not replace you. Gen AI actually will not replace human, but the human who's going to learn and leverage Gen AI will definitely replace the other human, right? So given this, let me start how the AI evolved, right? So typically, why this particular exception happened? Hey, why this logistics from my supplier failed, right? And hey, this is a demand shock happened in the last week. Is it because of the promotion of other competitor? Is it because of the price of the product which actually been affected by some of the reason in the market? So why did it happen? So there is more of a explanatory oriented analytics, right? So how do we get an information insight? That's where I think many organization does the descriptive analytics past last week what happened. I probably ran a what happened in the last week. Let's actually try and avoid this in future. So that's how many organizations used to do a decade back. It's more of an explanatory. From explanatory, people actually wanted to move to a predictive and prescriptive, right? Predictive is okay, this truck, when this truck is going to fail in which particular route for which particular customer. So I get an insight and call my customer, hey guys, this truck is going to fail for 5 hours. Please be prepared. Right? I mean, I can't change the traffic, I can't change the other complications, but I can at least predict and figure out to kind of communicate to my consumer. So consumer actually get to know this before. For example, take an auto OEM, right? Let's say take any auto OEM who's getting from a supplier, right? Lot of auto OEMs, they are like a just in time. I probably get the product from a supplier, and in the probably like I order something today and I get it tomorrow morning, and directly it goes to my shop floor, right? It's more of a just in time. I reduce my inbound inventory, make a just JIT concept, right? I know JIT is gone now. JIT has become a JIC, just in case. It is not like a just in time. It is more a just in case. I'm not going to talk about that now. You just go and find out JIT versus JIC. There is a paper written by me. JIT is now the old concept. It's a more of a just in case. But coming back, so I actually wanted to kind of a JIT concept to be enabled, so I can predict this truck is going to fail for 5 hours for this consumer in this particular road. Go and actually talk to consumer. Hey, this is going to happen. That's where I think predictive. So people actually move from a explanatory, descriptive to a predictive. What will happen because of this delay? Now, how can we make it happen? Right. So this is more of optimization. Okay, fine. Now there is a 5-hour delay. So can I actually arrange? Because a 5-hour delay is a huge delay. Can I arrange some other vehicle, a smaller vehicle, which can take some portion of the product from the larger vehicle, and then it goes in a different route, right? That's where I think, can I prescribe some solutions, right? That's where I think many companies are, hey, I'm predicting, but give me some solution as well, right? I'll give a solution, right? I'll give a other example, right? I'm predicting that, okay, this is the quality complications going to come in the manufacturing. Let's say a pharma manufacturer, right? This is a quality complications going to come in the product. Yeah, I'm predicting this, and I'm trying to figure out how to avoid this. That's where I'm going to say, hey, now can I actually do some kind of optimization to avoid this? How do I actually change my bill of material very quickly, and then actually optimize it and then prescribe the right solution? That's where people move from a predictive to prescription. How can we make it happen? How do we kind of avoid this failure, which is a predicted failure? Can I actually bring a auto resolution engine based scenarios, which actually machine tells you this 3 scenarios will solve this predicted failure? Can we make it happen? Now, human actually, doesn't. I mean, we are good. We move from a explanatory to predictive to prescriptive, but still, I think satisfaction level is not to the delight, right? We want more because today the competition is heavy, the globalization is happening, and the people want product yesterday, not today, right? I ordered today, but I want yesterday, right? So I think that's the level of expectations happening. I mean, for example, like a small pencil, my son ordered in a Zepto. 10 minutes you'll get it. I mean, I asked my son, hey, where's the pencil? Don't worry, daddy. We just get it in 10 minutes, right? So I think 1 year back, 1.5 years back, have you seen the go-to market of 10 minutes getting a pencil, one pencil in your door, right? And so that's the power of go-to market today. So consumer can get the product in 10 minutes, what you want on the table, right? And that's where we need to move away from a predictive to prescriptive to a generative. Help me create content, right? I want to reduce my time. I want to reduce my non-value added time. I have 100 contracts coming from transporters in my logistics. Should I go through all my 100 contracts? No need. We have a generative AI applications. We'll go through all the 100 contracts. Probably you would have seen Rajinikanth movie Robo, right? I mean, Robo actually reads the complete book in a fraction of seconds, the full medical book, and then actually serve a patient. That's it. That's a generative. I mean, all the 100 contracting documents being gone through by the generative AI setup, and then it tells you, hey, out of the 100 RFP what you receive, 30 RFP only satisfying all the conditions you asked for today, right? And this 30, now you can go for a level 2 evaluation, level 3 evaluation, and so on and so forth. See, the so-called autonomous planning, um, it's now evolving, right? How do you do a no touch, no human touch planning, right? No human touch planning. That's actually, it's the next era, friends. I know there are 95% of the no human touch, but 5% there is a, obviously the human judgment is important, right? But help me to create content to kind of make it happen. That's where I think generative. Help me to create a collaboration which is actually much more effective. That's where generative. Help me to create a better way of the segregation. That's where generative. So that's the journey of explanatory to predictive to prescriptive to generative. That brings agility. That's bring more agile. That's bring more responsiveness in the business, and business actually can do more, right? That's the journey, friends. This is the the evolving journey in base in a Gen AI setup, right? Now maybe the next 1 minute. So what is Gen AI? How does it work? It is more of a prompt, right? The prompt can come in different ways. It can be text, it can be image, it can be video, it can be sound, it can be code, etc., etc., etc. Coding is powerful. Somebody who's actually like one of my analysts was trying to create one particular small module for a particular problem. So he actually like honestly he was searching like almost like 5-6 hours to kind of find out a small module in a coding, but he has gone into a Gen AI platform. The 5 hours whatever he was searching, right, within next 15 minutes he got the specific coding on the table. So 5 hours of searching, I said like, boss, go to Gen AI, go to Gen AI platform, put this across. So in the 5 hours he searched a specific for a specific module in the coding, he searched like maybe 100 different websites, right? He got like multiple element and he gone through everything. I said like, use this platform. He got a specific only 5 coding. Within 15 minutes, he actually got a exact coding on the table and he actually copy pasted it. I mean, so that's where I think it's more powerful in coding. So it's a prompt from a text, from an image, from a video, from a sound. Text is like demand data. Can actually go through all demand data and figure out the outliers very quickly. And these outliers are maybe like a maybe like one-off outliers. I don't need to worry about these outliers because this is like happen because of some reasons, right? There is election reasons, that's there the demand is huge on the particular area, etc., etc. All this actually can be created from a text point of view. An image, I look at my entire warehouse layout, and it actually kind of read the entire warehouse layout, and it'll figure out how I can actually get a prompt. So that way, the prompt is through a text, image, video, sound, and code. That is actually the first step. So Gen AI is actually generates new unstructured content from a prompts with the help of the foundation models, right? That's where I think it's powered through an application called foundation model. It is a large scale input data sets. It's a petabytes of data collected from the multiple sources. It can come from web, Wikipedia, your ERP systems, your advanced planning systems, your TMS system, WMS systems, your supplier system, your transporter system, your warehouse service provider system, etc., etc. This transformer model trained with the multiple parameters, with the multiple billion parameters, and this is like adaptable for a specific use case, and that's where the application is powered through a foundation model. Okay, and this is like a pre-trained on a specific unlabeled data. So once we have a prompt through multiple ways and use the foundation model as application, then the content is generated. The content is generated in form of text, again, image, video, sound, and code, right? So in a summarized way, the data comes in form of many ways: text, image, speech, structured data, unstructured data, unlabeled data, 3D signals, etc., etc. and you train those data, use the right foundation models on a large set of data, which is collected from multiple sources, your internal source, your external source, your supplier source, etc., adapt them, and then make the task much more efficient, right? What is my sentiment of my consumer on my service, right? What is my you know I mean, what is the answer for this question, right? I want a very brilliant answer. How do I recognize some of the quality complications in my product in effective way, right? Object recognition. So all this task can be done by GenAI in effective way, which human does today in some form, in some crude form, in some way. But GenAI can actually help you to do this in a much more effective way. So that's a GenAI, friends. So to summarize, um, the AI, ML, and DL algorithms, right? That is more of a if I have to give an analogy for you, right? It's a custom-made solution for each application, right? What you see in the left-hand side is AI trained with your specific supervision, using specific data on a specific task, right? Whereas one core pre-trained model powering many applications using a broad data, performing multiple tasks, and that can be fine-tuned to do more tasks. That's where use a foundation model, which kind of represent the use case, which actually kind of get a answer in a better way. So that's the analogy, friends. So the paradigm shift to the foundation model in the Gen AI actually is much more powerful. Hope you kind of get a sense of the basics of Gen AI. I want to kind of give a sense how the Gen AI is evolved, how the industry is evolving with Gen AI, and what is the background of Gen AI, and a kind of analogy. So now I talked about Gen AI basics, right? Gen AI is in the industry. Why? Right? Because it is aid to reinvent the agility and the responsiveness through automating some of the human task, which is very tedious, which is laborious, which is like non-value added. Automate them so you can actually replace human, right? So you can actually reduce time rather, right? Then augment some of the task. So giving the humans I will actually give you, I don't give you a 500 snippets of code. I'm going to give you a 5 code. Use a 5 code and then use the right one and move on, right? So augment, especially what is available in the in the space, and then filter them and give it to the humans. So your step change in the productivity happens effectively, right? That's where the speed. That's where I think the response time, the reaction time consumer, right? That I think it's much more effective, right? Then accelerate. That's a third element of benefit of Gen AI. Acceleration. How do you kind of extract and index the knowledge in the right repository so that we can actually kind of short my innovation cycle, right? So imagine if a OEM, auto OEM, if they have to make a design of a car, anyone from the room, can you tell me how much of how much of time it take for a typical auto OEM to make a design of a car? They want to imagine they're going to make a design of a car. Okay, just give me some time period. What would be the time period?
Probably 1 to 2 years.
1 to 2 years. Divyanshu is saying. Any other answer? How many years or how many? Yeah. What is the time period?
2 to 3 years.
Yeah. It's actually close to 3 years, right? They take like a 3.5 years to make a design, right? And I think that's where I think now the 3 to 4 years cycle, actually people actually trying to make it like a 6 to 12 months. Why do I need that much of time? I mean, I need to do multiple test, design, quality checks, etc., etc., etc. Can I accelerate my product design cycle of a product, right? So that your cycle of innovation can be short. I mean, definitely you can actually get more innovation, get more product on the table, right? That's where Gen AI is actually kind of help you to reinvent the agility in the business through automation, augmentation, acceleration. That's the basics. Okay. So now you know text generated, code generated, image getting generated, video, sound and audio, etc., all getting generated by Gen AI. What you see in this slide in the right hand side, right? There are many companies, there are various models used by different companies, right? and I just want to give a glimpse of it in a single. This is the McKinsey always very fabulous in actually consolidating everything in a nice framework. McKinsey is always good for a framework. We actually bring a right frameworks and strategy, right? So what you see on the right hand side, there are text, image, audio, 3D, video as a columns. These are different forms of your outcome of generative models. What you see in the rows, Microsoft, OpenAI, Meta, etc., etc. So you see like three different colors. One is a dark blue, the light blue, and then the cyan color. Closed source, you cannot access the source. Open source with cyan color. So if you want to do something in GenAI using for an audio application, then OpenAI is available. It's open source, right? The light blue is a closed source available through some APIs. You have to kind of use some APIs. From there you can actually access it. So that way, I think this clearly gives you a clarity where which particular platforms can be used in generative AI. If you want to really code yourself as a researcher, if you want to kind of leverage some of the platforms which is available in open source, you can very well do it. Keep in mind about your data security. That is very important. So don't forget about it, because when we talk about risk, 10 years back, the risk are operational risk, financial risk. Today, not only two risk. We talk about regulatory risk. We talk about reputational risk. We talk about data security risk. We talk about structural risk. Getting from Taiwan, getting from China, etc., etc. Tsunami happens, earthquake happens, and how do you actually kind of structure it? So likewise, the risk actually, the two risk which is there in the a decade back, now it's a 7 or 8 different risk. That's why I think you should be very careful enough to use open source as well. But this gives you a glimpse of what are the different models used by different companies and how you can access it, right? This is the basics, friends. Okay, given the basics, now I want to give you the applications of GenAI, right? As we can see, what we think, GenAI is actually going to boost the performance and unlock trillions of dollars across functions in the business. Okay, there are 4.4 trillion value can come along. It actually across functions, right? So sales and marketing. How do I bring the right consumer experience, right? Make the better experience. I can actually get additional 1.2 trillion business. How do I actually use the code in effective way so I can do a better software engineering, additional 1.2 trillion opportunity. Customer operations. Can I actually tell the customer where my complications going to happen, and how do I actually reduce the complication in operations? So that's why I think another section. How are you going to think through the design, the R&D, the research and development, reduce innovation cycle, the design cycle, the product design cycle, and so on and so forth. That way, I think across functions, it's going to be a fabulous opportunity going to come on the table. And that's where I think many industries are now stepping back, realizing how you can leverage GenAI, how you can actually bring the skill of GenAI in the specific value chain of the business, right? And how will this impact the workforce? I think almost like 2 by 3, of the full-time jobs, exposed to some degree of automation by AI, right? So, of which AI could substitute like 25 to 50% of the current work. The white-collar jobs are some of the most likely to be impacted, right? Legal and administrative, especially in particular, can be possible, right? And most industries are likely to be complemented rather than substituted, right? So that way, I think we have to step back and figure out how we can empower people, how we can actually bring the GenAI empowered people is very important. It's a little sensitive topic. I'm not spending time on this slide, but I think, yes, there is a huge impact going to come across, right? How this impact sectors? There are multiple sectors in the industry, right? I know the letters are not very clear here. Sorry for that, but I think what you see the downside from the high tech, retail, banking, travel, transport, logistics. FedEx's travel, transport, logistics. You see like 180 to $300 billion. So I think there's a huge money, friends, right? The GenAI predicted impact by sector, like as a fourth. After retail, banking, travel, transport, logistics is very critical. Then only the manufacturing and so on and so forth comes, right? So travel, transport, logistics comes under the fourth important sector. That way, significant impact going to occur in the travel, transport, logistics sector. I mean, it also brings a lot of changes in a chemical and agriculture, etc., etc. But almost all the industries like will have implications and will have like a lot of benefits through Gen AI. That's a point, friends. So, given this,
There is a question here, Ganesh. Sorry.
yes, yes, sir.
The question
Yes.
is from Divyanshu again. He asks, uh, 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 people have started using Gen AI to basically take shortcuts in job interviews. He asks specifically, shouldn't we start monitoring, regulating, and moderating use of Gen AI, especially in academia? The
No, no,
interesting
very,
question.
no,
Yeah.
no, very good, very good. No, no, I think very, very important, right? I think this happens. First of all, before research, consulting jobs at stake, Divyanshu, right? So because we as a consultants, our job is to kind of bring the innovation, bring the setup, right? I'll come to academics and research. So the consulting jobs are at stake. The consultants, Gen AI going to act as a consultant. So that is one element, right? Why I'm actually saying this because I mean, for example, in our consulting, when we serve to the client as well, right? Can I create some kind of ideas through Gen AI and go to the client? I think somebody can do it, right? Same thing happened in research and academia as well. I think very, very, very valid questions and very critical. And people actually step back and figure out what is the reality and what is the genuineness of the research, and how do you kind of bring the value in your research is very important. And how do you do what are we doing now, right? So in our consulting setup, we take only the in many aspects we take only the comparisons. Can we actually use Gen AI for comparison? Can we use Gen AI to validate, to justify? I mean, that helps to even in research also. You can use it for validation and justification, but not actually for getting the answer itself, right? Because getting the answer itself is like is bullshit, right? So I think I understand a lot of students actually kind of asking the questions and trying to get a quick answer, and definitely we should actually step back and figure out like a data security risk. It's kind of a Gen AI monitoring risk. We have to figure out how we can curtail it. A lot of companies are making us a closed source, right? That's why the open source are now. I think many companies are stepping back and thinking where this is getting used, who's using that. So there are a lot of forums. I also be part of one of the forum. We also figure out who are the users, how it's getting used, who's using it, in what form they're using it. So that I think will take little time. But maybe similar thing happened when the digital transformation came, when the AI came. A lot of complications came in the beginning, right? So the same thing happening in Gen AI as well. So we should actually regulate it in an effective way. But it takes time for us to. I mean, it won't take many years to do it, right? I mean, it will maybe in the next 3 to 6 months. A lot of companies are actually bringing some kind of a clear mechanism to monitor this and curtail this. That's a kind of idea evolving, Divanshu, right? That's a quick answer for your question. But yes, is risky, and the innovation fails sometime. The real innovation actually may not come sometime. So that we need to kind of educate people, especially the next generation people. They want to like get answer quickly, and then that's what I see in my juniors, right? So typically the promotion cycle is like a 3 years, 4 years. No, I think I just want to grow in the next year. Can I actually get a promoter in the next year? I think that's the next generation level of thought process, right? So yeah, I think the fast growth, the fast track is always great, but you should actually have the experience. So many times what happened, right? My clients, my consumer kind of come and ask, right? I know this answer is good, but how far it is practical, how far it is pragmatic. And Gen AI sometimes fail in some of those pragmatic setup. I'm going to show that also some of the example, right? But we have to use it in a right sense. If you see this slide, Gen AI is going to be useful for multiple areas, right? From supplier till the consumer. From supplier, yes, how do we assess the risk of supplier, right? For example, Microsoft, they uses the co-pilot by integrating in its supply chain center to make a supply chain risk, which supplier, where semiconductor risk is going to come from where, what are the complications happening in the specific metal sector. So that way, I think we can figure out some of the risk understanding in an effective way. That is one application. Second application from a product design. If you look at the Audi as a company, they actually uses Felgan, which is a general adversarial network. So they actually use Gen AI to kind of generate new rim design, right? What are the different combinations of weights and size can come, so that I have a better rim for my car. So I can create those many. I mean, for example, to create a rim design, I simulate it and I get like hundreds of rim design and I evaluate that, right? So now Gen AI is kind of reducing that particular cycle time and generate multiple rim design to kind of with a multiple combination of your weight, size, specification, etc., etc. That is on the R&D point of view. That is one example from Audi, and obviously from a inbound, outbound logistics, from a distribution, warehousing distribution, a lot of applications. How do we kind of find out the new transportation routes? Can I actually use Gen AI? Yes. How do you kind of enhance the autonomous drones? Drone delivery happens today. A lot of e-commerce actually is happening, making a drone delivery. So how do you kind of use Gen AI to kind of get a right path for a drones, etc., etc. And also contracting. How do I reduce my time in browsing a lot of contracts, evaluating a lot of contracts, so that I don't need to evaluate 100 different transport contracting and then take a decision. That takes another 15 days to go through each and every contract. Can I use Gen AI platform to kind of cut short the 10 days into a 2 days, right? Or a 1 day. That's where I think applications are happening from a logistics point of view. Now, sales and marketing. You look at the Tevas as a company, right? What they've done, they create a very nice video generation. So they create like a the food videos. A lot of food and beverage company create a food videos, the food product videos in effective way using Gen AI. So that reduces a lot of time. For example, Coca-Cola, they actually kind of use Gen AI to allow user to develop digital artworks. A lot of artworks can happen over a digital element, right? Shopify as one of the company use the Gen AI to create a product descriptions, right, based on the text prompt, right? So somebody actually writing a text prompt can actually get a right description about the text prompt, right? So that way many companies are using from a sales and marketing so that the customer experience, goes in an effective way. And there's also good application from the customer service. For example, Yummy as one of the company, they provide flexibility to the consumer, to the user, to create customized meal kit plan, right? I don't know, the Subway, Subway as a fabulous, your make your own sandwich, right? Likewise, there are many companies and many organizations actually come with make your own meal, make your own setup, and so on and so forth. That's why I think customer service is also a good example, right? Likewise, Gen AI can leverage across value chain, friends, right? From a supplier specific activity to a customer specific activity, right? So these are some of the example, friends. Tevas as a company has done for marketing and service, Shopify marketing, Coca-Cola for marketing, Yummy for customer service, Audi for R&D. Many companies are using it today. Okay, so given this, I probably like skip this slide. I mean, you see this slide. This is a fabulous one. Yummy as a company, they allow the user to change their meal kit plans, right, based on the preferences by leveraging Gen AI. So, for example, what does the basic meal kit look like? Any chicken with the rice, and you can go and tell, hey, I don't like rice. I actually want to create a chicken with the pasta, and I want to actually add with a potato. And I don't know how many of you seen the Zomato AI application. In Zomato, if you go, you click the AI application, you see the food in front of you, how the food look like. You can zoom it and see how the food, how the sandwich look like, and how the texture of sandwich look like. Almost you feel like you're seeing the food in front of you, right? So my son actually use this extensively. You just go to Zomato and then you see the meal. You will find out wherever the AI application is available. You go for the food, because you get a feel of the food. This food This is what exactly I wanted, right? And whether he get the same or not is different, right? But at least he get convinced of the food, and then he see the food in front of him. Daddy, I think this is what exactly I wanted. I created my. If you go to California burrito as a shop, right? You can go and create. He put his fried mushroom, barbecue paneer. He put his chicken salsa, corn salsa, etc., etc. He create. I don't like that, by the way, but I think he creates a nice meal for him, and then he see the meal in front of him. Right? I mean, Daddy, and this is what I wanted. You get almost 90% actually equal to the same meal. So, I mean, like 11-year-old guy, I mean, he's like cooking with the AI, and he get his own salad in his style. I think the next generation people, I think, have more preferences. That's what my father says, right? I mean, so my father says, I just get a shirt for my father. I mean, I never got to any shop. I just get a shirt my father. My son actually is actually creating his own shirt design, and he's like, Daddy, I want this kind of a T-shirt, right? So the next generation are actually like the Z generation actually want to have a customized setup. I think that's why Gen AI actually gives more experience for the young generation. That's why I think this application from a customer service point of view is great, friends. So this is the good applications across sector. Now, does Gen AI fail? Okay, that's a question. What I did, Gen AI is good. I did some research. I'm going to share the next 5 minutes. Where Gen AI actually is very risky, right? Disease diagnostic. For example, high-stakes scenarios where errors, factual inaccuracies, or early judgment can cause harm. Especially, how do we diagnose the disease? That one area we have to be very careful. Stock trading, obviously, like otherwise, everyone actually easy to get a market share, and then using a Gen AI do a stock trading, right? That is also very critical area. You have to be like double sure, ensure what is Gen AI outcome. Legal document creation of, see, you have a document with you, you're going to assess the document, you're going to like go through the document, that is okay. But creating the document, that is very, very sometimes goes bias. You need to be double ensure, triple ensure whether the document created by the Gen AI is right. Credit scoring, how do you kind of score some of the failure modes, right? There is also another area. So likewise, there are a few areas. I'm not saying don't use it. I'm saying use it with a caution. I mean, use cautiously, and use it with the double check, triple check from the human judgment point of view, right? So what I did, right? I did actually I tried for two things. One is optimization scenario and basic relationships in data. So we look at it in terms of two aspects: whether Gen AI can do optimization or not. That is first question. And whether Gen AI can do a relationship, can it do a correlation and basic association? These two questions I had in my mind. Okay. First, I tried for optimization. What I did, I created a problem. The problem is a function of f of t is equal to 100 plus 800 t divided by t square plus 90,000, and t lies between 0 to 365. I created a very nice optimization problem. Right. This is like a operating rate of a major manufacturer factory over a certain period of time, determine the day on which operating rate is maximized. That is my problem. Okay, so I created some equation here, right? And this equation I solved using optimization platform, using optimization algorithm, right? The answer of the function is like 101.308. That's my answer. So the f of t answer is 101. That's the answer which I got it from my 3 or 4 different optimization platform. I use like Lingo, Lindo, Cplex, etc. I got the same answer. Okay, because it's a small problem, I can optimize in a small search space. So I got the right answer. Okay, the answer is in front of me. The answer is 100.308. Now what I did, I actually gone to 2 different platforms. One is Bard, other is ChatGPT. Right. What you see here, when I solved this problem using Gen AI, Gen AI gave the answer. The Bard gave the answer, which is like 91800, right? That is the answer gave from the Gen AI. If you see this particular, I'm trying to kind of use my pen. I'm not sure whether the pen works, but yeah. See, this is the answer given by the Bard, which is 91800. Okay. and this is an answer given by ChatGPT is a 0, right? So these two are like not closer to answer at all, right? So the result of ChatGPT and Bard in the current state, it's kind of deviate completely from actual solution. Like accuracy 0%, right? So hence Gen AI cannot be used in optimization problems, right? I'm not actually generalizing this for all optimization problem, but whenever you want to solve the optimization problem, um, I mean, we can't rely on Gen AI directly. That's a point. I'm still doing a lot of research on this. I'm not actually finalizing my research now, but I think this is a this is a typical example I just want to show to all of you, right? So optimization problem, Gen AI is struggle number one. Okay, but if you look at the relationship, the correlation, for example, determine the correlation of a data provided. I actually provide a specific data, and actually ask the Gen AI to create a correlation, create a relationship between the demand, the forecast, and seasonality for a given data. Yeah, that actually is fabulous. So the correlation coefficient, which I actually got it from Gen AI versus my statistics algorithm, both are actually almost equal, right? So that way, I think the correlation, relationship, multiple regressions, and so on and so forth, Gen AI actually kind of provide a fabulous answer. There, I think you can use it. So, so ultimately, like the point is, yes, optimization problem is risky. The relationship problem, correlations, the regressions, etc., I think is easy to kind of leverage in Gen AI in effective way, right? So that's the third chapter, friends. Does Gen AI fail? Yeah, it may fail in some aspects. You need to decide and figure out which particular platform, where, what is the problem statement you actually have on the table. Accordingly, you have to use Gen AI. Okay, that is on the Gen AI success and complications. Now, let's step back and understand how the Gen AI. You have seen the overall value chain. I showed you in sales and marketing. I showed you in terms of product design. I showed you in terms of customer service. I showed you in terms of some bit of the even the R&D point of it. Right? Now, let's step back and understand how this is helping in the supply chain. Okay, in supply chain, Gen AI, the next 5 minutes I'm going to cover this, right? Gen AI is helping in terms of 4 aspect, friends. One is classification. Analyze the large data sets and classify and convert the unstructured data into a model feature. So classification. Second is collaboration, right? Analyze the inputs through specific bots, Gen AI bots, to uncover the new opportunity and brainstorming ideas. So it works in a collaboration mode for supply chain application. Third is create the content, create a RFP, create a request for proposal for your transport document or a warehouse document or any document, right? Then synthesize, interpret lot of data. For example, let's assume I have a truck. A truck actually gone. I mean, imagine a truck actually there is some failure in the truck. Okay, the truck is not running. Okay, now I can go on. Imagine there is a dump truck, a big truck actually some maintenance problem. Okay, now I can go and figure out. I can go and take a 250-page PDF document, understand what is the failure. Whereas Gen AI go through the 250-page document of the PDF, synthesize. Hey, these are the 5 steps you have to do to kind of solve the problem in your truck, right? So interpret large amount of internal, external data and summarize in a very easy to use way. That's where it's useful in classification, in collaboration, in creation, in synthesis. Okay, if I have to put this in a nice framework, right? The framework is a very fabulous framework. What you see is technical readiness, which is like your low to high, right? The readiness of technicality, value, because at the end of the day we need to bring value. Because why we use Gen AI? The Gen AI is actually to reduce costs and bring the profit margin for the business, so I can actually run the business effective way, right? So low value and high value. If you see, I divide them into 4 different applications, as I mentioned in the previous slide: classification application, synthesis applications, creation applications, and collaboration applications. These are 4 applications I said, right? Now you see in this particular matrix, right? You see a lot of applications. One application is contract generation. This is more of a creation, right? This comes under the color creation. Contract editor. Can I use? I mean, I can create and I can do some edit in my contract, right? Now, procurement AI assistant, which supplier I should use, what question I should ask the supplier on negotiation, what are the different parameter I use for negotiation. That's where I think you use for synthesis. Okay, hey, I got a RFP from this particular guy. I got like a contract document from this guy. What 5 questions I should ask this guy to kind of reduce my cost of the overall product, right? That's why procurement AI system, which is more of a synthesis, right? Now, automated generation of cargo documentation. I want to create a documentation for my road. Imagine like road permits or a e-auction document or any document I want to kind of generate, right? So I can create documents, right? That thing is fabulous application. Then collaboration is another area which I mentioned, right? So can I do a planner training in a very seamless way, right? That's why collaborate. Can I do a supplier KPI bot, right? I mean, supplier KPI bot, I think automatically collaborate and it tells which supplier, which KPI, who's doing good, etc., communicate this to the supplier itself, etc., right? So all this actually a fabulous application. If you see, like there are almost 20 applications I've seen, I put in here across classification, synthesis, creation, and collaboration. Some are ready in terms of technical aspects. Some are low value, some are high value. Now you need to figure out which applications you can use it for your industry. These are all specific to logistics, friends, right? A lot of logistics applications I want to put on the table because of FedEx today. So likewise, there are multiple areas in which we can leverage, right? Now, in the next 3-4 minutes, I want to give you some sample application in detail, okay? Look at this particular application, Gen AI for a contract parsing, okay? For example, I can extract the key terms and identify the potential risk and the complaints issue from a contract. So, for example, I have a contract document. Okay, my Gen AI visual expert will go through the contract document. There is a contract document for a particular lane, for a transport lane, contract document for a particular warehouse, right? So the contract document is going to my Gen AI expert, the application expert, right? That Gen AI will go through the contract document. It will actually extract the information. What is the contract summary? What are the compliance check? What are the risks involved in the current contract? What are the negotiation tactics you can use to kind of reduce your overall contracting rate? Right. That's where I think it actually gives you. It acts as a legal advisor. It acts as a safety expert. It acts as a standard AI assistant. So it actually review the contract and provide all the summary of purpose, terms, considerations, compliance, etc., etc. For example, if you see the right hand side, right, it gives a clear summary, right? It gives the parties involved. It gives the most crucial terms, right? What is the duration of the contract? So it gives a nice. This is like a 250-page contract, right? You want to get a nice summary out of the contract. It provides you are saying like, hey, can you give me like a 1-page summary, which includes like executive summary, parties involved in the contract, most crucial terms, and how the duration of the contract look like. So it gives a single page. You get a synthesis of the 250-page document in a single page, right? So my first research paper, my professor T.T. Narendran asked me to write a 100-word abstract. Okay, so it got for 29 revisions. 29. I still have this 29 revision of my abstract. Okay, so I probably would have had Gen A to make a nice abstract, but my professor T. Narendran made a 29 revision of my abstract. Okay, but finally the 30th revision what he made actually got published. Yeah, I think besides joke, yeah, the Gen A actually can useful for in many ways in terms of parsing and getting the synthesized version on the table, right? That is one application in the logistics, transport contracting, warehousing contracting, stores contracting, multiple contracting happens. Second, Gen AI negotiation advisory board. For example, you're talking to a logistics service provider or a supplier. Then you can ask a question. A supplier X asked for a price increase due to raw material market. Is this reasonable? Gen AI will go to the, understand the what product, what supplier, which region, whether the rational what is quoting by supplier making sense or not. So it collaborates and gives you answer. Then you can get a sense of it. This guy is like 50% saying the truth, 50% is actually making the void information. So then I think you can decide your negotiation strategy accordingly, right? So can you help me role play a few negotiation scenario for a discussion with a supplier? It will give you, what are the role plays you can do, right? Likewise, it actually helps you to collaborate in your negotiation, in your contract negotiation, in your supplier discussions, logistics provider discussions. It tells you like it takes all your supplier background data, historical negotiation data, supplier performance data, contract compliance data, all the history it will take. It auto consider external input, right? Price trend in the market, demand, supply situation in the particular industry market. What are the different negotiation tactics can be used for the particular supplier? Then the co-pilot will create and gives you a very good information on the table, which is like take a public information, take a information from the your internal history, and then your external input. Then it gives you a nice outcome from a negotiation advisory bot, right? The other application, it can create a RFP. I want to make a request for quote. I want to make a request for proposal with your internal data, legal data, product requirements, external data. Create a RFP, right? For example, creating RFP document may take 3, 4, 5 days. My GenAI can create in the next 3 hours, right? So it tells you like what is my introduction of my organization, what is the description of my, let's say my contracting is for my material contracting or a logistic contracting. So what is the description of the contracting? What is the timeline of the contracting? What are the appendix has to come? What is the diesel escalation mechanism has to be thought through? All this actually kind of created automatically, seamlessly by the Gen AI platforms, right? For example, as I mentioned earlier, right, this is like a look at this huge Caterpillar truck, right? The company looking for imagine, hey, can you describe the preventive maintenance needed for a 777 haul truck, right? This is like a 264-page document, okay? So you just ask this question. You get a very nice answer quickly on the table, which is helpful for you to kind of decide what is my preventive maintenance of this particular truck, right? Because you get a 250-page document for a particular, you buy a truck, you get a 250-page PDF document, but you want to get a specific answer, then you can use a Gen AI to kind of get a specific answer in a fraction of minutes. That's how it's useful in many ways in logistics and supply chain application, friends. Okay, let me pause here. I probably thought to play a video, but let me pause here. I can do this later point of time. I mean, I just want to summarize, in next 30 seconds, lot of events, geopolitical, economic, festivities, natural disasters, weathers, all these events across your production, demand planning and forecasting, inventory, distribution, sales and operations, all can be captured, and it tells you it's a high impact. Geopolitical is highly impact your production. Medium to high, medium, low to medium, low impact. So all the events what you see in front of you for the 5 application, right? So, and union strikes, competitors, power disruptions, etc., etc. So, I mean, imagine this your internal event or external event, etc., etc. Across my supply chain functions. Can you give me what is the impact of these events on my planning functions? So that way, I think it's more powerful heat map you can get for your industry. Then you can design your strategy accordingly, right? Many companies are stepping back and deciding the strategy of the company based on Gen AI now. Okay, so how do we do Gen AI? Step back, do a strategic alignment. What is your vision? What is your alignment of organization? What is your commitment to customer? Understand this first, right? Then think through where you want to use them. Do a proof of concept on a specific area. Take a use case. Build the capability. So then I think the Gen AI can eventually evolve in any organization. Let me pause. I think I'll probably take a questions if something. I know we are like on time, 4:01. I thought to close it by 3:55, but let me pause and take any questions. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ganesh. Yeah, so questions from the audience?
Sir, can you hear me?
Yeah. Very well. Surya, right? Yeah.
Sharanya, sir.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yes, sir. Sir, I just had a doubt on how you can combat the practical variability when you use Gen AI.
See, I completely understand, right? See, ultimately, like, See, if you step back, right? So ultimately, I mean, there is a contest, there is a fight. Definitely, there is a conflict happens through a practical element. But what I'm saying is, imagine if a human mind can assess 50%, Gen A can do 70%. It's closer to the practicality, right? So this is more of how do we increase accuracy? What is actually judging by the human versus Gen AI? If the accuracy is actually good in some application, leverage it. Step back. What I'm actually saying is Gen AI have failures also, right? And you need to figure out in which domain, in which area it's actually creating success and creating success recipe. And we are like almost maybe a second year in Gen AI to understand this success and failure recipe, right? This will take time. I think there's so many organizations which is trying to figure out hey, how long the success will come, because the practical variables also might change over a period of time. How this compatible and how this is capturing all those elements is a research, thorough research going on, right? Where I would recommend is a simple applications, not super complicated, lot of human non-value added activity going on. They use Gen AI, so you reduce time, right? I
Yes.
think that's why I think I would recommend to kind of use non-value added activities which is happening heavily in the organization. Can we use Gen AI to kind of replace them, right? That I think is a low risk, non-risk setup and environment, right? Imagine very simple, right? I let's say if I have to hire a 20 analyst in my team, I get a 400 resume. Okay. 400 resume. If I have to go to 400 resume, honestly, I have to go to each resume. I have to go through at least 10 minutes, right? So 400 resume, if I just, let's say my target is to kind of close the complete hiring in the next, imagine like, 1 month, right? So what do? I mean, 400 resume, I'll give some 3 conditions, whether those 3 conditions satisfy or not. So that's what I'm saying, garbage in, garbage out. You define your requirements thoroughly and then use Gen AI in an effective way. Then say out of 400, 70 matches these 3 exactly. Come on, then 70 goes next level, right? So likewise in contracting, also in logistics, what happened, right? I mean, everyone actually, today I think take a a global client, right? They don't go to a 10 transport and do a contracting. They actually go for like a 200 transporters, right? Because they want to get the complete knowledge of the market, what's happening, right? So 200 transporter, imagine 200 transporter, you are actually doing for imagine I'm a chemical client, I'm having a 50 plans. So 50 plans, 200 contracting documents, 15 to 20 to 15 to 200, you get that many of contract documents, right? So there I can use Gen AI to kind of get a wise answer on the table. So my recommendation is intelligent selection of your problem and use Gen AI to kind of reduce your non-value added time. That's what I would recommend, Shananya.
Yes, sure. Thank you.
Any questions?
Good evening, sir. This is Yasir speaking.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
So I want to discuss about a specific domain, like supply chain and logistics. So
Okay.
imagine there is a FMCG who has warehouses across the uh, across India, and they want to improve their networks. So to achieve certain service level and all. So they'll be using forecasting and all. So how can you relate Gen AI helping them out, like to improve, like they need to keep certain inventory level and all. So how do you suggest to use Gen AI? Because this needs a very good accuracy. You cannot fail in this case. So can we trust Gen AI in the case, or still go with the prescriptive method as you showed on the roadmap?
No, I think for inventory applications, very very good. I'll tell you how it's going to be useful, right? I had a video. I couldn't get a time to show that, but imagine for a warehouse inventory, Yeah, you say like, hey, I'm going to have 98% service level for all my customers. Okay. Now you can ask a Gen AI, tell me what is my implication of the cost, implication of my margin, implication of my customer service, implication of my cash flow. If you really wanted to get this, Gen AI actually can go and figure out and give you the answer to the table. I mean, because it's a relationship, right? You use a relationship and say like, I want to create 98. So you have an inventory model. You see, inventory model is there. I'm not asking you to do the model with Gen AI. So what is the safety stock, cycle stock? What is the max inventory, min inventory, ROP? You need to have a inventory model in place, right? Now, scenario making. Scenario making. You need to create scenarios. Okay? But if you use Gen AI to create scenarios in a very efficient way, then it tells you, hey, if you keep 90% serviceable for all my customer and all my warehouses, this is the impact of cost, margin, cash flow, service on the
We
table.
need to classify.
Yeah. So I think that's where I think you can. So that's what I'm saying, right? You need to figure out where you can actually use Gen AI to kind of get answer, not to set the inventory levels, right? That's why I told you in optimization, Gen AI may fail, right? So don't rely Gen AI to optimize your inventory. You have optimization algorithm, you use it, right? Secondly, where do I keep my warehouse? Where do I expand my warehouse? Given the current logistics ups evolving, then I can figure out where the multimodal logistics part evolving by India, where the container station evolving by India. All this information available publicly, right? It tells you if these are the logistics hub evolving in the country. Having warehouse hubs in these places makes sense, right?
Yes.
So this is more of collecting more information across your internal external element and gives you instead of doing Bhopal, instead of doing Indo, you can do in Bhopal because of XYZ reason, right? So that is more compelling. Otherwise, we need to human can do that. Human can do that. Only thing is, human might take a lot of time to do that, and the accuracy of the human doing it, and the person who's doing it, there is a bias in doing it, right? For Gen AI, I think the accuracy is slightly better than the human, and fabulous time reduction from the human, right? But I think not all the applications. See, we also have disappointment on Gen AI. Some Gen AI applications are like equal to human. It's almost speed of human only, right?
So,
How much?
sir,
Yeah.
are you telling Gen AI will definitely fail on optimization, or I mean, at some point it will improve?
Very good. As far as my research, Gen AI will struggle in optimization. So that is my my research, right? I don't say it doesn't optimize, right? Will struggle in optimize. Okay. I mean, maybe if you ask me the question by September, October, I'll have a very thorough research done across multiple application of optimization problem. I can tell you the answer. Uh, Currently, the answer is Gen AI struggle in optimization, right? And will I use it? Will I use it immediately for optimization problem? I will not use it personally. Right? It's up to you. You use it, right? But I think I'll not use it personally, right?
But
So
it will be transformative if somebody can develop it. Like,
yeah, I mean
I mean, it can
that's
be
the
used in multiple industries. I mean, like,
correct. Correct. No, I agree. Gen AI in optimization, if some application actually come along on the table, that'd be a fabulous transformative element, right? And I mean, we are also trying to do that. We are also developing Gen AI for optimization internally as well. But I think it's very early for me to comment on that. So my comment is Gen AI struggle in solving the optimization problem as of now. That's a statement from my side. Yeah.
thank you, sir. Thank you.
Any other questions, friends?
Other questions from the audience? So I have a question.
Yes, yes, sir.
So among the components in the supply chain, for example, material movement, choice of vehicles, etc. What is there data which is available that can be used to train Gen AI models? Do you have any pointers to such data?
US,
Especially for so many students in this particular use.
North America is awesome. India is struggling. Very fragmented logistics. We have a So anyone can guess how many number of transporters we have in India? Number of transport in India. Anyone can guess? Number of transporters in India.
Transporters, is it?
Number of transporters. Let's say logistics service providers. Any guess?
Maybe a few 25, 20, 30 lakhs.
20, 30 lakhs. Any other number from anyone else? 20, 30 lakhs. Yeah.
I'm putting like 1 lakh transporters per state. Number
Okay.
one.
Awesome. Any other number?
Sir, it would be considerably more because there are transporters with just 3 or 4 trucks as well. So I would put it above of like probably 5.5 million, close to that.
It's almost close to 12 million transporters.
Oh my God. Okay.
So having a single truck become a transporter also, right? So see, Professor, I think the problem is if you step back, if you look at the US, right? They have a very good platform, DAT platform. It actually captures everything. We have the freight, which is benchmark, which is clearly on the table. Here we have this is a union cartel in a region. You are a dada, and you whatever the price you keep it, that's the price, and you can't actually change it, right? And the carry forwarding agents in a specific region, I tell you, like the best established companies, the multinational companies, when it comes to India in a last mile distribution, they couldn't bring 3PL and 4PL, right? So local MLA who runs the carry forwarding agent in a specific small village, he runs a show. I have a 10 different small Tata AS van. I only run the show in this village, right? So it's a very fragmented logistics setup in India. It's evolving for sure. If you look at the Europe and US, they have a well-established benchmarks, number of transporter, the visibility of the routes, etc., etc. It's like great, right? There we can actually do wonders.
So there also is data available. I mean,
Very well,
especially
very well, very well. Commercially, if you're, you have to buy commercially, but I think very well structured data. 95 to 98% quality of data is available from the US, right? And you can identify the backhaul, what is the return loads you can avoid. See, that's why I think the Gati Shakti National Master Plan in India, we want to get a unified logistics platform, the ULIP, right? So that everyone can have visibility. Prime Minister is trying the best to kind of bring the best on the table. But yeah, I think we are little far away of the dream. It takes time in India at least, right? But US is well established, and if you go to a DAT platform, your money, you can get everything. You buy the data. You go to the UPP LY platform in Europe, UPLI platform, you get everything on the setup, right? So today in India, Map My India is one of the platforms which is like trying to evolve. They're trying to replace the recording is going on, but anyway, so they're trying to replace some large scale map by their own map, because they understand India routes and can understand by Indians, right? So
right.
and Map My India, I think they couldn't succeed. Still the giant map, we're using only giant map. How many of you use the doesn't use a Google map? Your finger goes to Google map only, right? So
Yeah.
how many of you use Apple Maps or Map India Maps? Nobody. And so I think that's where I think it's very tough from Indian context.
Thank you. Other questions from the audience, please.
I have a question, sir. Divyanshu
Yes.
here.
Yeah.
Yes.
So usually it happens when there is some new disruption, organizations tend not to, just jump towards it. They try to step away from transformation and maintain the status quo. But with Gen AI, I have seen that everyone is trying to jump on the bandwagon as soon as possible. So isn't it scary, or does it not show some kind of problem coming up ahead? Will there not be any, negatives of this?
No, yeah, very philosophical question, but yeah, I agree. But I'll tell you, right? So today, the business triangle is very simple, right? I want a high profit margin. Wherever you want to cut cost, bring the high profit margin. I want to get a segmented service. So Divanshu, you are married? Are you married?
No, sir, I'm not. I'm a student at IIT Madras.
Student. A student. Okay, fine. So you have a sister?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Whom do you like? Your sister or mom? Whom do you like the most?
So that is a dilemma you've put me into, but I'll go with mom.
That's where I think one size does not fit for all, Divanshu. So that's where segmentation of the customer comes along. I cannot give delight for everyone. So I have to give a better delight for my platinum customer, low delight for my silver customer. So business are ruthless. I cannot give same service for everyone, right? If you are a Air India Platinum member, you will have a direct entry to the flight versus a normal member, right? So I think so that's why service level is also segmented now, right? People actually ready to pay premium and get the service done. You understand, right? So that is heavily happening, right? So one is the high profit margin, second is the high delight segmented service is a key for the firm, and high cash flow, low inventory, high cash flow. The three triangle is important in the business. Any technology, any disruptions which actually brings all the three on the table everyone will welcome it. So Gen AI brings all this, so why not, right? So obviously, like overall economy is also booming, and in India, I think things are going very well. Competition is actually happening heavily. So I want to catch the bar. I want to catch the bar in terms of margin. I want to catch the bar in terms of service. I want to catch the bar in terms of go to market, and I want to actually reduce inventory as much as possible. Then whatever the transformative element comes, I want to catch it up, right? That's how industry are actually behind any new transformational technologies, which is what are evolving. Likewise, people are moving to Gen AI. Gen AI actually show result as well. That is for sure. It brings risk, right? I mentioned, right? Gen AI will replace people. It won't. It replace the people. It replace you if the other people knows it, right? So catch up yourself to Gen AI, right? So there's a human judgment involved, right? There is a risk involved. A lot of back-end jobs can be replaced by Gen AI, right? There are sensitivity going on. Women, we are talking about women empowerment. Women actually do a lot of lot of back-end jobs, etc., etc. Whether that will have that risk, yes, we'll have that risk. So we have to figure out a way in which we can actually empower ourselves when this happens, right? So there's a risk. There is a risk in terms of the jobs, risk in terms of the competition. It's evolving. We need to figure out the way in which you have to swim, Divyanshu, right? So can't answer this question. How do we little diplomat on this? But every technology will evolve, right? 15 years back, we don't have anything called ERP. Today, ERP is there, right? And 15 years back, we don't have a Google Pay. Today, Google Pay is there. And so I give an example, right? I actually went to a airport. We have a Digi Yatra. In Chennai, I think we are struggling. In Delhi and Mumbai, Digi Yatra. So the security is actually telling me, one of the Tamilians telling me. So I was doing the last 20 years, my job is to look at the ticket, look at the document, and then scan it, send the people out. Now Digi Yatra comes, I don't know what to do, right? Yeah, right. So digital technologies, avoid non-value add activities, and people have to empower themselves. People have to upskill themselves, cross skill, upskill has to happen. Otherwise, it's a very race environment, Divyanshu, right? I think a psychological professor can answer this question better way, but I'm a hardcore industrial guy, so transformation has to happen.
Other questions from the audience?
Hi, this is Yasin. Again,
Yasser, just 1 minute. There is a question. I'll please take a few. Sorry, I missed a couple of questions.
I'll try to see
what do you think about the next way forward to have the kind of logi infra like Europe and US?
Where do I see one second? I just want to read
the chat window.
Yeah, can you interest South Asian supply chain logistics for greater good? Okay. Yes, very much. Okay, LLMs and their affinity towards hallucinations also big concerns. Yeah, okay.
Last question by Velan.
Yeah. Next way forward to have the kind of large infra European US. Next way, no. Digital India is evolving, friends. Digital India is evolving. Bala Murali. So, digital India is evolving. I mean, look at this toll system. It was not. It's not like it took 20 years. It doesn't take 20 years. It took only 3 years, 2 years. All the complete toll, the electronic toll system, I think is awesome, right? The GST has come in now. Any state can have any all the IGSTs all actually can have. We don't need to have 25, 30 warehouses. A CPG company can run within 14 warehouses, right? So, see, you have to step back and think, right? Given our the set of people, populations, and so on and so forth, we are growing in an effective way, right? The policies. I mean, imagine so no politics here, but 2000 to 2010 or 2012, India has moved from 17th place to a 14th place in economy. But from 2012 to 2022, we moved from a 14th place to a 4th place or 5th place, right? So in the last 10 years, right, not supporting any specific political party here, in the last 10 years, we actually moved our economy to in a bigger sense. And GDP per capita, if you look at 40% increase in the last 5 years, right? It never happened in the last 80 years, the 40% increase, right? That way, I think this is all actually a fabulous thing happening. And the infrastructure today, infrastructure is like, especially from a multimodal logistics park, warehouse parks, and the free trade warehousing zones, all the things are evolving on Digital India, right? I know the pace at which it will happen, it takes time. The kind of infra which US and Europe happens, we probably get it in 2035 or 2040. But in the next one decade, we probably get it for sure, right? So, but we are marching towards it. And so let's see what's the next government and stuff, and that also determine the answer for this question. Yeah, it is in our hands.
Okay, great. Yeah. So I have one request. So I will leave the meeting room on. So I have another meeting at 4:30.
Sure,
right?
sure.
So I will leave the meeting room on. There's a lot of interest. So I request the meeting to continue as long as possible,
Right.
but it will not be moderated by me. Is that okay with you, Ganesh?
No problem. Any other questions? Anything else? Fine, sir. You carry on, sir.
I am dropping out. Thank you very much.
Thanks, sir.
So I will stop the recording also right now.
Yeah, sure, sir. I'll come and meet you sometime, sir, for sure.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.